Welcome to a new episode of your favorite program all over the cable, TV, Education Exchange. And I would like to welcome you to our 27th year on the air. We have Jane Fry, an eminent educator in the Iowa City Community School District on my right-hand side. And she is the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, supervising a lot of activities in our education system. You probably remember her as the principal of North Central. That was her last appearance here, maybe about 8 years ago.
2 years ago. I came with a group of students.
Okay. And it's my privilege to welcome you here. This is a very special night for us.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
I would welcome to our audience here. We have a very important person from the Press Citizen. Amy is here from the Press Citizen. She is the education editor there, covering a lot of issues. And I would love to have her as a co-host. I'm trying to recruit her. I know the money is not so big, but so anyway, Jane, the floor is yours. And backstage, we talked about the substitute issues. Substitute service in the district is a hot topic now. We started to see in the Des Moines Register articles, in the Cedar Rapids Gazette articles about the shortage of substitute teachers in the area. First of all, why do we have a shortage?
Well, I think part of the dilemma is just a shortage of teachers in general. We're seeing a decline in individuals graduating from high school that are entering the career of teaching to start with. So when you start playing that out, we've got fewer certified teachers that are out there in the field looking for jobs and looking for opportunities to fill in and to sub. So I think that's a piece of it. You also run into some concerns with it. It's not the easiest job to take on in a part-time type role. So when you have people coming in to the classroom, sometimes they may not be knowledgeable about the subject area or the grade level, the particular building. So people may not be as open to taking on substitute jobs as possibly we had in the past. So those are some things that are not only specific to Iowa City. As you mentioned, the Des Moines Register. These are concerns that are statewide and have been a concern for at least the last 3 to 4 years of trying to find people who are qualified and willing to come into our buildings and substitute in our classrooms so that our children can continue to receive that instruction. And it's a tremendously important role in our district. We have people who need to be out of the classroom either due to illness or due to illness with their family, but also when we provide opportunities for professional training, that can all happen during the summer months when we don't have students in the classroom. A lot of that happens during the school year as well. So those people play a hugely critical role in maintaining that important instruction for our children during the time that our teachers are in training.
So the substitute service does not only include teachers. It's more than that.
Correct. Within our particular district, we specifically hire substitutes for our paraeducator positions and also for our classroom teachers. With that, we also have substitutes that are hired for some of our skills side of the organization. So when we have need for substitute in nutrition services, in what we call physical plant, which would include our custodial services, we have trained people that are hired specifically as substitutes to fill in when our custodians are out ill or need to be gone, and the same thing in nutrition services. Because of the specificity of the training that's required and the job that's filled, we train our own people and hire them specifically to fill in across the district when those absences occur. So those positions look a little different than they do with just the general positions with the paraeducators and with the teachers as well.
That's excellent. So let us go now to the issues as I see it in front of me when we designed this episode. How do you hire a substitute teacher?
We have a system, it's by Frontline. People also are familiar calling it ASAP from the teacher end. Our substitutes are able to make application into that system as a substitute. It requires some of the background checks, the paperwork, the application process that some of the other positions in the district require. And so people get into that system, they go through an orientation, and once they receive district password and they're able to access that system, then they can check on jobs daily. Some are pushed out if they are what we call a preferred sub in a particular building or with a certain certification. And others, they are just able to see those jobs a certain number of hours or days before the opening actually occurs. And then those substitutes are able to look at that listing and select a job that matches their background and their area of expertise.
And you have done a couple of surveys the last couple of years where you discussed with substitute teachers the issues that are there and the problems they are facing, and you ask them for some suggestions and advices. Can you tell me how this worked out?
It's been a little more of an informal process. So when we go through the orientations, especially in the fall when we're coming back, we typically have substitutes that have been in the district for either for 1 year or maybe for several years that come together as part of that orientation. And as we're working through that and getting their information updated, we'll talk with them about thanking them for starters, and then talking with them about what are some of the things that they would like to see some improvement on, or some of the things that we could help to enable them to receive the support that they need while they're substituting in the buildings. A couple of the suggestions that I think are very easy for us to implement are, one is to make sure that our building principals are able to stop into those classrooms where the substitutes are filling in for us and just check on things, ask them how they're doing. That helps from both ends. One, it helps connect the building principal with the substitute, so name and face go a long way. And also when the students see that someone's checking into and just touching base, I think that just helps with the expectations and just sets the tone for the kids when we have a substitute in the building. The other thing that we really reinforce with our teachers too is just the importance of having good, solid substitute plans, either in their file or some of them will send them online into the school, so the substitutes really feel prepared and that they're able to carry out the same lesson to the best extent possible that the teacher would have carried out during that time.
Super. So let us discuss some of the data that you wanted to share with our viewers here.
If people would like to look back on the report that is part of the board docs dated from November 14th, we did a fairly detailed report with the board on looking at the substitute concerns across the district, how we fill some of those jobs across the different job categories, and also when we get some data, how we look at that data and how we use that to help us do some planning and put some corrective actions in place. So at this time, if we'd like to put that, the bar graph up that shows the daily attendance rates and the reasons for the absences. What you'll see there is a summary that is for the first 3 months of school, the data collected. So on that graph, you'll note the different reasons for absences from the start of school to, again, the end of that first quarter.
The typing here may not be very clear for our viewers, so if you please, Jane, if you can read it so that people can decipher this.
I would say probably the most important part of this graphic, Hani, is looking at the lower line where it talks about the different days of the week. So obviously we have known this for the last few years that Fridays tend to be a day where we have a higher rate of absences than we do on the other days of the week. So that helps us know, okay, as we start preparing for in-services, for example, and those things that we have control over as a district, we know not to put trainings and in-service opportunities on a Friday, because that tends to be one of our high rates of absence days to begin with. So in looking at that, then we try to stay with Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays that are a less have a lower rate of absences on that day. We also look at the reasons for the absences on that particular day, and there's all the reasons are noted on the right there of the bar graph, from bereavement to professional leave, sick leave. We'll have jury duty. We have, when you see the term vacancy, that means that we have an open teaching spot that has not been filled at this particular time. So you'll see that one listed. It is still listed as a vacancy that we were trying to fill with a full-time staff hired on contract. So that enables us to look at the data as far as the days that we need to work harder on for coverage, and also the reasons for the absences across those different days to see which are our most common, and are there some things that we can do to help improve either the level of absences in that category or whatever that data may show us in order to do a better job of filling those absences with substitutes. The next table just shows some of the data. Also, it's just reflected in a little different way. So on that particular chart, we'll see a total of the number of absences. And again, that's very small. I apologize for that. But it shows those absences across days per week as well as per category, per leave category.
I think if we can read some of them, yeah, it will be easy to comprehend this. So.
And this again is a document that is available on our board docs. If you look at the board agenda for the date of November 14th, all of this information is directly available there for
parents
viewers.
Can go and get the link and see the original.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's very good. And I know that there is the full report too is on the website, right?
Yes, correct. All the information we're sharing today.
What do they do in order to get to the report?
Go to the Iowa City Community School District website, and then when you look at the top, there'll be some choices across the bar there, and go to board. There's a specific tab for just the Board of Education, and as you scroll down there is an option called Board Docs, and if you click on that, then that gets you into the website that is specific to the Board of Education, and then you want to go to the reports listed on 2017. Once you get in there, it flows very easily.
One of the issues that jumped into my mind while you were talking, I know that we didn't discuss this in our production meeting or anything, but you probably can help me understand this, because you have tremendous experience with special education issues, and before you were the leader of this particular, and this is special education now is one, I think it's one of the top concerns of our viewers in this district, whether the policy or the implementation and so forth. Now, let us try to get an understanding of substitute service when it comes to the issue of special ed, because do you think that the substitute teacher or para should have an experience dealing with mental issues or learning disabilities and so forth, or it can be just any licensed teacher that can be present for disciplinary function during the hour of the period?
I think that you have a good teacher is a good teacher, and if you're looking at a one-day coverage for a particular classroom, I think when you've got a solid teacher with a good educational background, they will take those plans from the special educator and be able to implement those and make those work. I know our paraeducators, when our teachers are out of the classroom, Our paraeducators are a tremendous help to the substitutes coming in. They're able to help explain the student plans. They're able to help talk to the student instruction. They're able to help with the data collection that happens, and definitely able to be strong supporters when the kids go into the general education classrooms for their integration time. So we rely on that support from the paraeducators as well. We do have some substitutes that come in that are certified special educators, either retired special educators from the district or the area, or teachers who are new to the profession that have just come out of college and have their special education certification. So those are some instructors that we try to get into those positions and prioritize their availability for those. But I also think the teachers within our special education staff across the district have some go-to people that they try to bring in when they know, at least in advance, if they know, they'll contact those people, reach out to them first and say, I'm going to be gone for a conference, a meeting, a training on this particular date, and try to recruit those people to take those positions. Because I agree, I think those are probably even a little more complicated just to walk into cold if you don't know the students in the building than it might be for a general education classroom. But that being said, I think there's a lot of skill required for walking into any of our classrooms and working with the students. Again, we want them to have the best experience with that substitute possible.
Some ideas were circulating right now, either in front of the board or by some of the directors of the board or in the letters to the editor. And those are mainly dealing with the issue of how about if you assign permanent, or let us not say permanent, but at least a known substitute for each school who would attend every day and be ready to jump in once a teacher is absent. How do you see this or foresee it in the near future?
At this time, we started a program last year that we had gotten the idea from this experiment in Cedar Rapids, where they had hired what they called building level subs, and those individuals would not be on contract with the district, would be assigned to a particular building. And so that would be their building of assignment on, especially at the start of the year, we'd have them report to that particular building for the first 2 weeks of school. The idea is that they would get acclimated to the school building itself, get to know the key teachers, the schedule, the students in that particular building, and then when absences started to occur, that person already knew of the building and would be able to just step into that classroom when those absences happened. We identified 6 elementary buildings that we thought this would be a good support for. Some that had struggled somewhat with their substitute fill rates with getting those jobs picked up. So within those 6 buildings, we allocated 2 of these building level subs for each of those buildings. And so they had within themselves set up a network where they would text each other if they had no openings in their building, and their building level subs would be available to go to one of our other buildings if we had extensive absences in another place. So those individuals didn't just stay in that one building when they were there. This is our 2nd year of implementing that, and we're feeling like that has gone very well. So conversation has started, do we want to expand that to our secondary buildings, to some of our buildings where they are struggling with their fill rates, and getting that continuity with the same people being in those buildings regularly, again, to get to know the kids, to get to know the curriculum and the flow of the building. So that is one of the conversations that we're having right now. Part of it is determining how we roll that out at the secondary level, and then the number of people that we might need. And the other thing that's a little concerning at times too is the trade-off of when we bring these people in and make them part of our staff, we also reduce our substitute pool by doing that as well. Now they're definitely covering absences during that time, so you hope that we've got that reduction in the number of openings that do not get filled, but that's going to create somewhat of we've got to balance that against removing people permanently from our substitute pool as well.
Let alone the issue of benefits too.
Mm-hmm.
uh, health insurance and all that. You know, some of the teachers have other jobs where they can be like evening or whatever. Well, another issue that is a little important that again jumps into my mind is if we implement this permanent position, do you think that this will really, I know that you explained how the idea can be successful, and I myself support that idea so much because I see that one of the common complaints among teachers is, well, I go there and kids don't respect me, and it's a mess and it's a chaos and all that. But I think any degree of success in this area would be much better than the current situation. And yeah, I urge you to really consider this a very important step in order to cure the current situation now.
I would say in response to that too, Hani, that there are some things that we can do at the building level to continue to improve the student response when there's a substitute in the classroom. Some of that goes back to our PBIS systems, our positive behavior and interventions and supports, and retraining the students on when we have guest teachers coming in the building, that they are actually the students that can help make that experience positive by helping show them the classroom, show them where things are, being kind of a mini aid to the substitute teachers as they come in. We've talked about that. We've talked about doing some additional training with the substitutes if we're able to get some time from them as far as some of the strategies with working with children who are struggling with change or with a new person in front of them in the classroom. We also have talked to, and this is a little off what we're talking about, but in looking at our data too, is there a way to incentivize some of the substitutes for coming in on those higher rate days where we have a higher level of absence? So do we want to adjust our pay rate? We're looking at some of the area schools have chosen to go that way as well to try to attract more of the area subs to come into their districts. So sometimes what we run into is we have people who are less experienced also coming into classrooms somewhat cold. And if we can attract a more seasoned substitute or provide a better training opportunity for them, I think that would also help improve that experience for them as well.
Sure. We have a couple more minutes that I would like you to maybe, you have, as a matter of fact, done a great service by allowing people who have a college degree without experience in education to get a short course and get authorization license or license of authorization to substitute. And this, I think, is a very good idea too, because I mean this widened. So now, as we are being watched now by Iowa City Community School people, I would like you to tell people who are listening now how they can get jobs as substitute teachers, although they are not teachers or they didn't have any educational training. Alex Smith may be our director today, and he think, okay, maybe I can sub half day. How can they do that?
Where they start with that, and that's per the state of Iowa, so as much as I would love to take credit for that opportunity, that is the state had opened that door for individuals who have a 4-year degree are able to take what we call a sub-authorization class. In this area, that's offered by Grantwood AEA, and it is a 20-hour class.
And we would like to explain what's AEA.
AEA is Area Education Agency.
Okay.
And our current host for that, they are up out of the Cedar Rapids office. We have been able to work with the AEA, with the Area Education Agency, in providing a trainer in the Iowa City area. So there were 2 occasions. We did one in the spring, and then this last fall, the trainer came to Iowa City out of our Educational Services Center building, and we hosted a substitute authorization class for people in the area with a bachelor's degree or better. Were able to come in and take that class, and then once again all the background check clears, all of those kinds of things are accomplished through that class, then they're able to apply to be able to take on a district position or anywhere, not only in Iowa City but anywhere. They're able to substitute in the area in the classroom.
So shall we use this forum now to invite people?
I think that would be great. I think
Okay.
that would be great. And all you need to do is check on the AEA online site and go into their professional development strand, and you'll be able to see the course. You'll see the explanation for it, the times that it's available, dates, and you can get yourself signed up for that. And those occur regularly throughout the year.
And as a matter of fact, I have to add this. If some people say, yeah, but it's not too much money, but I think it's a good payment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the 1 day is above $120, right?
It's $125 currently per day.
$125. And that's not bad, at all. So, do you have anything that I ignored, overlooked, missed? Do you want to add something to our viewers?
Well, what I would like to add is to really encourage people to get into the career, the area of education, and especially K-12 education. We need good teachers. We need kids who are people who are good models for our students. It is a highly rewarding career to have. I have been in the field of education for, do I even say this out loud, 36 years now. Have held a
We
variety.
can remove this when we edit.
That'd be great. And I've enjoyed every role that I've been in while I've been in the field of education. And I think whether you choose it as an initial career or a second career, it's a great field.
Jan, I have done a lot of things in my life. From being a surgeon to a UN guy to a writer to a journalist. I tell you, the best thing for me was to be with the kids in a classroom. To this note, I would like to thank you very much, and again thank Alex and Mr. Singh down there in the control room, and to thank Amy for being our great audience today from the Press Citizen. And to our viewers for keeping up with us for 27 years. Gosh, that's something, right?
Congratulations on that.
And this program will be on Channel 18, cable, Channel 21, the Education Channel, as well as on YouTube. And I'm sure Mr. Singh will send it tonight to YouTube so you can watch it. If you have, for the people who missed it, they can see it at least tonight or tomorrow. And we have a special channel for PATV. Thanks again to Dr. Gerardo Sandoval, our big director here, and for them for hosting this wonderful program all these years. Our audience, it's a beautiful night in Iowa City. It's warm, although we are in the end of January, and you can take a nice walk downtown and have a very good night.